Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2026 annual business meeting for the Society for Obstetric Anesthesia and Perinatology. First, I do want to thank all of our members, our annual meeting committee, our board, and our management company for what was an incredibly successful meeting in Montreal, Canada. And at the annual meeting, there were some highlights that included our Party with a Purpose, which focused on our endowment fund and the activities that it supports. Second highlight was the growth of the Research Network Symposium, where future research and investigators are building their collaborative networks. And lastly was simply the positive energy amongst all of the members. It was something to remember for a long time, but I'm sure we will even surpass that next year with their annual meeting committee planning another phenomenal one in 2027 in Palm Springs. As I reflect on the past year, I believe SOAP is in a real moment of momentum and intentional growth. Across our committees, our partnerships, our educational programs, and research initiatives, there has been a clear focus on moving these ideas into execution, ensuring that the work of this society translates into meaningful value for our members and ultimately better maternal and peripartum care. One of the most important developments this year has been the renewal and expansion of our partnership with the Foundation of Anesthesia Education and Research through the SOAP FAIR Mentored Research Training Grant Program. This new agreement includes a combined $300,000 in funding commitment, which represents a significant investment by SOAP in the next generation of obstetric anesthesia clinician scientists, and in research that directly aligns with our clinical care priorities. At the same time, SOAP continues to evolve its approach to long-term sustainability and philanthropy. Through the work of our endowment fund and finance committee, we are building a more structured and intentional strategy for people to provide money in building their own legacy within SOAP. One that includes clearer pathways, legacy contributions, and new opportunities for member engagement. This includes the development of the SOAP Impact Partners, improving maternal and peripartum anesthesia care together, designed to recognize individuals committed to advancing our mission through transformational support and long-term partnerships. We've also continued to expand our external collaborations. Building on success with the New York State Society of Anesthesia, discussions are underway with the WFSA and the California Society of Anesthesiologists regarding future opportunities for shared programming, member engagement, while planning has already begun with the ASA 2027 for the SOAP Fundamentals courses. These partnerships are important because they strengthen our reach, amplify our educational footprint, and position SOAP as a leading voice in shaping the future of obstetric anesthesia. Importantly, all of this work remains grounded in the broader direction we set together: deliberate execution, accountability across our committees, and alignment between our strategy and the actions we take. SOAP's growth is no longer simply about expanding programs, it's about ensuring that every initiative contributes meaningfully to our mission and delivers tangible benefits and impact to our members. What continues to make this society exceptional is not only the science or the clinical expertise, but its people. SOAP remains a collaborative, thoughtful, and mission-driven community that continues to lead through innovation, partnership, and shared purpose. So thank you all for your engagement, your leadership, and your commitment to the society and to advancing maternal care. We'll go to the next slide. First off, I want to take a moment to thank the departing board members who, for the past 3 years, have served this organization with integrity, hard work, and commitment to the future of SOAP. First, I want to thank Heather Nixon, who I know just got a text from. She's busy in an operating room taking care of pregnant patients, who is leaving us as our immediate past president. I want to thank Richard Month, who's been our wonderful secretary and a member of the board for many years. Dominique Arce, who's our director at large with less than 15 years experience. Greg Palesci, our director at large for community practice. And lastly, Pervez Sultan, our director at large for academic practice. Thank you all for the support you've provided myself and the society over the last 3 years on the board. So thank you very much. And I know we can count on each of you for future service and future work for achieving SOAP's mission. Next slide.
All right. Hello, everybody. We'll do a brief report of this year's annual meeting. So I just wanted to first, thank everybody who came in attendance. The energy was just absolutely fantastic. A lot of special credit to the committee, and I'll go through the memberships a little bit later on the next slide, I believe. But so many great things happened at the meeting. Just to go over some of the highlights. So obviously we had our in-person and our virtual is coming out soon. For the first time ever, we had over 1,000 registrants, which is just absolutely amazing. We had all sorts of meetups, people from interest groups to internationals to our editorial boards. We had almost 250 plus faculty. We had our research symposium. For the first time ever, we had an international French symposium, which even though I didn't really understand a whole lot, everyone who went said was absolutely fantastic. We had almost 600 abstracts submitted, and we accepted most of them, which meant we had a lot of really great and interesting, content that was available. We brought back the idea of having some concurrent sessions. A lot of people seem to be fans of that, although we're still, amalgamating all the feedback. In terms of fundraising, we had over 17 sponsors. We were able to sell out all of our sponsorships for the meeting, and the exhibit floor was also pretty popping, which was great. And then obviously we had the Party with a Purpose event, which was a smashing success. And we also, I don't want to forget about our DEI outreach program. We had a group of our SOAP members go out to a local high school to raise awareness about STEM education. That was also very, very well received, despite some slight hiccups with some of our equipment being held up in customs. But the team that went out there did such a good job of pivoting and making sure the experience was amazing, despite having some of their equipment not make it. Next slide. So the attendees were from a bunch of different areas. Obviously, most of it was from the United States, and we had a very strong Canadian delegation, which was also very good. Next slide. And if we look at our attendance overall from around the globe, we have a lot of really great representation, albeit in smaller numbers, but representation from Korea, Saudi Arabia, Morocco, Germany, literally a global audience. And this is something that, we've really been trying to focus on. Obviously, we do have a base in the United States, but making sure that SOAP is the place that people from all over the world can come to get knowledge about obstetric anesthesiology. And the fact that we were able to draw from so many places around the world is a testament to the moves that we've been making as an organization, which is just absolutely fantastic. Next slide. So we do have our virtual highlights that are coming out. This is going to be during the week, and it's going to be adjusted for our Pacific Coast attendees so they can attend. It's going to be Monday, June 8th from 9 to 5 Central, and Tuesday, June 9th from 9 a.m. to 7:10 p.m. Obviously, there'll be all the highlights from the actual annual meeting, but then there's also going to be some additional novel content as well. And if you want to scan and register, by all means, you can go ahead and do it. And if you did wind up coming to the annual meeting, you don't have to pay a dime for this. This is given to you as part of the annual meeting registration fee. So go ahead and scan the QR code and register now. Next slide. All right, so we're going to put Montreal behind us, and it was a fantastic experience. Obviously, next year's annual meeting in Palm Springs is also going to be great. The weather will hopefully be a little bit warmer, and the environment will be great for a fantastic meeting. We've got a great venue, and the curricular subcommittee is already knee deep in planning the sessions that we have. We're all super excited. And then as an ending to my little piece, next slide, it's my pleasure to announce that we have picked our location for the 2028 annual meeting, and it is going to be in Puerto Rico. And this meeting is going to be super special for a whole host of reasons. First of all, it being our 60th anniversary, and second of all, being a return to Puerto Rico, which was one of our most popular meetings that we had in the past. I want to say it was maybe 2014, but don't quote me on it. Very well attended meeting. Everybody loved the environment. We've got a couple different places that we're looking at in terms of hotels. One that we've got our eye on, that if we can get the contract to go in the right direction, we think will be in Obviously, once that is done, we'll announce it formally. But for now, we know that we're going to Puerto Rico in 2028, which again, I couldn't be more excited about. Next slide. I do want to send a special shout out to the AMLE committee and subcommittees. I wish I could spend, an eternity thanking each of you. This job is literally a round the clock, round the year job in terms of, designing the curriculum, getting all the speakers, getting all the, helping disclosures, et cetera, et cetera. It's a lot of work. And again, a special thanks to AMR, who really is working tirelessly behind the scenes to make sure that everything runs seamlessly. I know that everybody saw them running themselves ragged at the annual meeting to get everything off the ground. So please, if you do see them or email with them, give them a special thank you. Next slide. And I think that's it for me. I will turn it over to our lovely treasurer. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be the AMLE chair this past year. Dr. Rubin's going to be taking it over from here from me, and he's got such great experience and some really, really great ideas for things that are becoming for the annual meeting. So if you have some ideas or things you want to do, you can feel free to email him, and he'll look it up and put it on the docket for discussion. All right. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Apologies for not being dressed up. My name is Mahesh. By Nathan, I'm your treasurer. Doing this for a little while now. So if you don't know me, please come up, talk to me, let me know what you need from the society from a financial perspective, and we'll make it happen. I'll start by saying that we've been doing great as a society, and I'm gonna try to show you how it's been going. We'll start off. We're one of the shout outs to Amy Lee and to Dr. and Dominique Arce. Both have started and perpetuated a great event that we will continue to support for some time. The Party with a Purpose. The goal here is to raise money for the endowment, to raise money for us from internally, from us to give back to our community in support of research and other endeavors from the endowment. We did well this year, much better than we did last year. I think both from word of mouth and from a little bit more time and opportunity to plan. I think the event was spectacular. You can see some of the financials there on the left. In reality, I think you'll see we had about 10%, I would say, a little over 12.5% of the people who showed up to and came to Montreal for SOAP came to this event. And I think we can do better in the future. And we're going to put a lot of effort and time into making sure that this event is something that is a can't miss. But I think we've got off to a good start, and we are generating revenue for the endowment. And I can go next slide, Melissa. These are our basic financials to date. You'll see that it looks like 2026, we're a little behind, but you'll see some of our financials will improve here as we get some of the final numbers in from the very successful meeting. And we'll look at here, we're looking at the investment performance. Last year, we had a fantastic year. Obviously, the market had a good year, so we had a good year. This year, I'm sure all of you will appreciate that market has been up and down. You can see there the Bloomberg bond is at 0.07, the S&P is at 5.7, and we're hanging in there. This is a result of the way that we, per policy, invest SOAP's funds. Very conservatively, however, with the intent of generating some revenue. So when the market is way up, we do good. When the market is way down, we don't do so bad. But the goal here is to be conservative and to protect the investment that many have made in our society. Next slide, Melissa. Going. I've gotten a lot of questions over the last couple of years of how we invest, what our policies are, how we spread, our investments. Obviously, all of us generate enough of income, make a lot of personal investments, and have knowledge of the markets. And so, I think it's important that we, um, you know, appreciate that economic knowledge. But from a society perspective, we are extremely conservative. We have a very good and responsible investment firm that we work with. And this is how we distribute our investments. You can see on the left there, that's the operating account, that's SOAP, in other words. And then the endowment and Gertie Mark are both technically part of the endowment fund, but they're invested separately due to the way that the Gertie Marks allocation was distributed to us. But we treat them all very similarly in terms of how we spread our investments and how we ensure that we are safely invested to not lose when the world is losing and to win when everybody is on the way up. Next slide. I think this is probably one of the most rewarding slides for me to show our society. I got engaged with the treasurer position back in 2022, and you can see that that was a period where we were generally struggling to continue to generate revenue, to continue to generate interest, obviously around a period of international distress with COVID. But we've come out of that period of time as a very strong institution and a very strong group in terms of engagement and participation. And additionally, my predecessor did a great job. Dr. Lindy, I should mention his name, Grant Lindy, did a great job of restructuring our policies to enforce a responsible form of budgeting. So you'll see that we have to budget. We have to budget so neutrally, meaning that we can't spend any more money than we anticipate making by revenue based on people who are members of the society and people who come to our meetings and support our researchers and our participants. So our growth from 2022 has nothing to do with me and has everything to do with our policies and our intention. We have done an amazing job of reframing what is important to our membership, what is important to our constituency, and what engages them so that they want to participate. That blue bar that you see that's rising has to do with all of you engaging with the society and wanting to participate. And that growth is an opportunity, is the way I see it. We're almost an $8 million society, and I will assure you that there are very few, including our counterparts, SPA, SCA, ASDRA, who can state that they have that amount of support from their constituents to grow and to develop and to give back to their community. So I think we're in a very good position, and that's thanks to people like Ron and Grace and our future leaders who really have an eye on making sure that SOAP represents our academic and obstetric anesthesiology community. These are some boring graphs that I have to share with you. Just shows that our total, where our income comes from, where our expenses are from. Please review them so that you understand that we are spending a lot of our money that we're generating from our members on our members. I will say that one of the things that we are addressing is that blue bar on the right, 3 sources of expenses. AMR is a fantastic partner, and they have done amazing things and I'll show you in a few slides here to improve the value proposition of our society. But as we have engaged them, we have started to potentially overutilize them. And so as those of you on this call, those of you that are watching this video in the future, we will be calling on you to re-engage in volunteership because that will be the only way that we can continue to grow with while maintaining a reasonable cost structure. Um, I appreciate that, you know, we're going to get called out for our costs here on the right, our expenses and our utilization of our management structure, but we do have a plan and an intention to address that. Next slide. The beauty of it is that since we brought AMR on board and adjusted our policies and our budgeting responsibilities, we have significantly increased our revenue from AMLE. Here you can see from exhibit and sponsor revenue. I want to call out Brandon Tokioga here, who will be our new secretary. He played a strong role in engaging sponsors and adjusting this structure so that we could generate revenue from their presence. And I will say, I think this was probably mentioned by Dan and will be mentioned again, but our um, community and engagement at SOAP with these sponsors really um, was well received. So they gave us great feedback saying that our members engaged with them and gave them great feedback and participated, and that's critical. And we'll continue to try to engage these groups and generate revenue from these external sources as well. Additionally, obviously, we've seen an increase in membership. I think more important than it growing is the fact that we're retaining. You can obviously see in 2019 and 2020 there was a significant dip, and I think that has to do that likely had to do with the purpose of our institution and the way that we were moving. And then coming out of the pandemic, I think we've seen a lot of distribution of services. So I think many generalists are starting to have to engage in obstetric anesthesiology more. There's been a consolidation of where our patients deliver. And that has resulted in the requirement of generalists and others participating in what we do for our specialty, and it has allowed them to want to re-engage. And I think we have done a good job of engaging them and keeping them involved. And this shows that we are evaluating our population well and ensuring we're engaging them. So I want to thank my committee. I think there may be a couple of people coming off. We have the fundraising subcommittee, which is now chaired by Dr. Arce. And we're always looking for other individuals. If there's anybody out there who's joined the business meeting because they're interested in business, please reach out next year in the call for committee members. We're always looking for individuals who are like-minded and have background in business and finance to help us with our ideation. And thank everybody. Have a good day.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Allison Lee, the chair of the Diversity and Inclusivity Committee. We've had a very active year that has passed, and we are very proud of all the activities that and initiatives that we have been able to complete in the recent year. In May, at this annual meeting, congratulations to Dr. Carolyn Thomas and Paloma Toledo at the University of Miami and at University of Chicago. Their project was titled Race, Ethnicity, and Geographic Distribution of Neuraxial Labor Analgesia Use in Illinois. And Dr. Kaisha Lawrence and Bushra Taha also were awarded for a project titled Voices of Obstetric Intensive Care Experiences Informing Care and Unit Design. So a lot of great work. I'm very excited to see the outcomes of these. Dr. Kokila Thanawara was awarded the Diversity and Inclusivity Award. Dr. Thanawara sort of lives exactly her values. She mentors so many students, especially rural students in her state of Iowa. She's at the University of Iowa. She leads the DEI content for the ABA, and I could go on and on. So very deserving. Congratulations, Dr. Thinawara. We've continued to be very active in producing modules. Please don't forget to check them out on our webpage. Our Hello World project has been something that we have been put a lot of work into, and we have about 10 stock phrases in many, many languages. This month we featured Hindi, Korean, and Mandarin for Asian American, and Pacific Islander month. And we've been doing community outreach at every annual meeting since 2023, thanks to Dr. Vernon Ross. Next slide. Dr. Ross brought to us this Doctors Back to School program that he had been carrying out with the ASA. Last year, we went to Central Catholic High School in Portland, which was very well received. This year, we went to École Secondaire Westmount in Montreal. Thank you in both instances to Doctors Nakia Nibs and this year with Jordan Frankie, who did a wonderful job despite the hiccups on the equipment shipping. We managed to really scramble at the last minute. Thanks to Dr. Anne Lavoie and for being that local in Montreal to help facilitate the school visit. And if any of you see our social media, her acting skills were amazing. Really engaged the kids. Next slide. We have more Hello World content in development. I'm excited to see the product we're going to have for American Sign Language and Nepalese. And we're going to keep doing what we're doing, following our values, continuing to try to strengthen community outreach. We're continuing to promote awareness of DEI issues through social media engagement. We try to produce something of interest for the society in the newsletter. And similar to this year, we'll continue to see if we can contribute to the meeting content, for issues that are important to SOAP members. We are in the process of developing a needs assessment because we also want to hear from you and see what you want to understand and what we can help you with. I think that's okay. Last slide. Thank you to our wonderful and dedicated committee members. I already mentioned Dr. Jordan Frankie and Nakia Nibs, Dr. Juan Lee, Hillary McCormick, Michelle Simon, Kokila Thanawara, and we have a very active and engaged subcommittee members, some of whom I'm sure are probably on the call. Thank you for this opportunity to serve SOAP.
My name is David Stahl, and I'm the chair of the Education Committee. I wanted to start by thanking all of our committee members who termed off of the committee this year. We are really fortunate to have a committee that people have wanted to stay on for numbers of years, and so we had some really senior members, and I'll introduce our new members in a moment. Our activities this year really revolved around trying to educate all of the different stakeholders across the organization as well as those that we partner with. So leaning into the C8 app, and I'm going to come back to that in a minute, talking specifically about targeted education in point of care ultrasound through our COPIS program, continuing to build collaborations with our Simulation of the Month program and get those out into the world so they can not only be used by our members, but by others. An incredible amount of work done to create the patient-facing website. If you haven't seen it, really encourage you to check out thepainlesspush.com. There's incredible content. It's content that can be translated into different languages and really, I think, is the next step in our reach as obstetric anesthesiologists. We'll move forward to the next slide. For this year, we have a couple of activities coming up. The first is our journal club in collaboration with our research promotion subcommittee. You can reach out to Adam Wendling if you would like to volunteer. We have a new point of care ultrasound committee, and they will continue the COPIS program. Nada Cole is running that, so reach out to her if you would like to volunteer to present. We are also going to be starting a new hemorrhage education project, so look out for some work on that. And then finally, the majority of our work from this year mostly involving feedback from our members, was that the most valuable thing to all of you was hands-on resources that you could use at the time that you're taking care of sick patients to decide how to best care for them. And we're really excited to have the C8 app in the SOAP family and feel like it is an incredible way to access material on the go in real time. And so our work this year is going to primarily focus on getting the best content that we have to the C8 app, but also the benefit of the app is every time that you use it and try to search for something and are not able to find it, that gives us feedback on the ability to create that content going forward. So that will continue to drive our content to better and better places. Next slide. So I want to welcome our incredible new committee here, Dominique Arce, Wasim Athar, Michaela Farber as our vice chair, Rachel Kakmar, Ali Moots, and Stephanie Woodward, as well as all of our subcommittee members, our clinical resources subcommittee, the OB-MFM midwife subcommittee, our patient education committee, our POCUS committee, simulation is technology, our training curriculum for those involved in fellow education, and our SF match subcommittee, as well as our education awards task force. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Well, David, Allison, and Mahesh, and Dan, thank you so much for your reports. I'm going to take a chance to fill in for Rich, who unfortunately had an emergency he had to deal with this evening. And again, thank Rich for his services. He's one of our board members who's finishing up his term. Governance had some interesting and great work this year. And as a former secretary and governance nerd, it was great to see them thrive and be part of our strategic plan that we worked on this past year. So many members and committee and subcommittee members recognize that we have a new committee timeline that is designed to better align and maintain work productivity and to make better use of the wonderful volunteer hours that we get from all of our members. So just a reminder, subcommittees have a 1-year term and it's an annual renewal process. And we have created a structure so that we have a staggered approach, which is going to provide better continuity such that our chairs can be more successful as leading those committees. Each year we have a call for committee interest, and it is wonderful each and every year to see how many people want to engage and fill these positions within SOAP. And so we have 219 volunteer positions that were filled in our 2026 committee and subcommittees rosters. And that was done by 134 volunteers, which means everyone got assigned to something in SOAP, which is a wonderful, inclusive community that we have. And everyone, or the vast majority, I guess it's not even a vast majority, most of them, we are able to assign to their first choice. And we do work really hard to try and align people's what they want to do, where they feel their strengths are, and how we can best put them to work within the SOAP community. So that's gone really well, thanks to the great and hard work of Rich and his committee. And that means we have 10% of our memberships serving the society, which is, again, something to be incredibly proud about. So we are always working on our board governance and assessment of that. We are sort of always working on, within the governance committee, the nominations process and elections oversight. Sometimes the boring behind the scenes work, but absolutely essential to ensure that we are accountable and transparent of how we do things within SOAP. And of course, we look after all of the bylaws. Next slide. So on behalf of Rich, I'll take the moment to once again thank Rich for his service over the last 3 years, but thank his committee and subcommittee members. Right now on the governance committee, we have Neil, Jason, Lisa, Heather, Naveed, and Ted. Thank you again for your hard work and your willingness to work on something that is so integral to how SOAP functions. Thank you very much. Next slide.
Thanks, Dr. George. I'm Jeanette Beauchamp. I'm the Inter-Society chair. We have had a pretty busy last year for several reasons. One is that, as you saw, SOAP is growing. And also, I would say that the landscape of academic medicine and just organizations in general is changing, where organizations are collaborating a lot more. And so sort of speaking to the growing influence of soap. We get a lot of more requests for collaboration between documents and statements and all kinds of requests. We sort of figured out that the ISC needed to evolve. And so last year we did a lot of reshaping what the ISC does. The Inter-Society Committee, we redid our policies and procedures so that we could better reflect that we're going to be acting more as sort of a gateway to for collaborative requests, all kinds of collaborative requests. And so you'll see this reflected in the policies and procedures. We just rewrote those last year. And essentially, we are a central location for all requests coming in. We now direct people to a website where they can, for them to fill out an intake form so that we can evaluate their project and their request for support, endorsement, or collaboration. Also, in the Inter-Society Committee is the Center of Excellence Subcommittee, which is a huge, a very important subcommittee in SOAP. Many of you, obviously your institutions are part of Center of Excellence, and I'll talk about that in a little bit more. Our current activities, we do have several requests for collaboration and statements that are ongoing. We continue to, and we want to expand SOAP's statements and guidelines. And currently we're working on a TXA statement that hopefully will be done relatively soon. But we want to put out more SOAP statements, just like ACOG and ASA have their sort of internal statements to guide practice. These would be mainly statements that are collaborative between SOAP and other societies, medical societies. And obviously, there's always the yearly review going on for Center of Excellence applications, which is a huge undertaking every year. Next slide. Our future goals, what we want is for that website to, and that intake form to be more obvious to the outside world. Right now, it's behind a SOAP firewall, and we need to make sure that it's a clear location and that it is a collaborative request, not just for documents. We want to also develop a process so that SOAP members can essentially when we have statements and guidelines and either organizations are asking for SOAP representatives, or if we want to develop a SOAP guideline or statement, that we understand what our members' expertise and experience is, so that we can have a better group of people to pull from, so that we're not leaving people out, so that we're getting the best people on these projects. So we're developing a way for us to better understand what our SOAP members' backgrounds and expertise are. And of course, we want to continue to explore topics for SOAP collaborative statements. There was a needs assessment that we did last year to come up with a future SOAP topic that will be announced eventually. So stay tuned. Next slide. So just the Center of Excellence, as you know, is a very important part of SOAP, recognizes institutions for the great quality care and evidence-based care that they provide. It is a massive undertaking that our subcommittee for the Center of Excellence runs. It's run by Dr. Ruth Landau and a whole bunch of reviewers. Right now, we have 116 institutions that are SOAP Centers of Excellence, 102 in the US and 14 worldwide. It's a slew of different institutions, academic, private practice, small, big. Next slide. This year, we essentially had 9 new designees, and that included an institution from Switzerland. And these slides will be available to you after the business meeting, so you can always go through them if you want to see all the designees. And then there were renewing designees this year. So people do have to renew their Center of Excellence designation so that we understand that there's ongoing quality activities and such at those institutions. These are the inter-society committee members. We now have an entirely new group, so which I guess is fitting for kind of a newly organized inter-society committee. But our subcommittee is a Center of Excellence that we're considering adding a couple of new subcommittees. That's it. Thank you, everyone.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Meg Rosenstein. I am the chair of the Member Value Committee, and it has been a real privilege to serve alongside both the 2025 and 2026 Member Value Committee constituents. Just a few highlights from our past year. Mentoring Academy had another successful matching of 8 pairs of mentor and mentees. They're at the beginning of what we hope at SOAP will be a very supportive and enriching relationship. The Mentoring Excellence Award was presented at the annual meeting to Dr. Dan Katz. Lots to celebrate that week. Dan, this is well deserved and comes with the committee's sincere congratulations. Also, Mentoring Academy sponsored the peak webinars in both November 2025 and February 2026. We look forward to fulfilling, professional development needs throughout the group. These were very successful, well-collaborated events. So we look forward to seeing how we can help support you both early and mid and late stage practice as well. Next up, SOAP Fundamentals is moving to a new time, trying to engage our team during a period of time where they might have less conflicting interests. We're moving this to January 2027. We have a fantastic steering committee, really looking forward to partnering and getting the word out at some of our society meetings at the state level. And I encourage your engagement if you are approached to participate in Fundamentals. It is a wonderful opportunity to provide enriching education to our under-resourced environments. I hope you will keep an eye out for the spring newsletter that is coming soon. We have all enjoyed the newsletters this year, particularly the return of the much-loved pro-con debate. And finally, among our committee or subcommittee activities, special interest group. We have 5 special interest groups, and we are really looking forward to how we can continue to engage and add structure to the special interest group infrastructure. Next slide, please. So looking forward to this coming year, really our focus is going to be on growing member engagement through increased inclusivity, increased touch points. Those include social media presence, enhanced member engagement. And one of the ways that we need to do that is by understanding what it is that our members are looking for. So I'm going to ask you to take out your phone or come back to this slide, scan the QR code that's on the right-hand side, and answer some quick questions for us from Member Value Committee. Our teams work incredibly hard to build programming, and we want to make sure that the programming that we're structuring, that SOAP is providing financial support for, is meeting the needs of, honestly, the most important individuals. That's our member constituents. Next slide, please. So let's talk about SOAP membership. It's pretty exciting to be able to share. We're at an all-time high. Our SOAP membership is at 2,383 currently, or sorry, 2,386 currently. Really great to see that growth. If we go to the next slide, that's again just a representation of our total members. On our following slide, we're going to take a look. Now, there's been relatively flat, perhaps a slight decline in our SOAP active members. But what's exciting to see on the next slide is that growth and inclusivity. We're seeing a tremendous growth among our associate members. If we are true to our bylaws and keeping an eye there, you can see that these are our members who are not current active physicians. So that means that SOAP's breadth of engagement is really growing. I don't see, that change in that proportion in any way as a negative. I think of it as an incredible way for us to be able to influence the trajectory and the practice and really reach and engage and be true to our mission statement of improving outcomes for all women and their children. Next slide, please. So I do want to take a moment to just recognize a really tremendous member value committee. We had an almost complete turnover from our 2025 to 2026 committee, and wow, have they hit the ground running. Rachel, Meredith, Kristen, Caitlin, whose name is misspelled, I apologize, and Laura, kudos already on the work that has started, and I'm really looking forward to engaging with you over the next 1 to 2 years. You can see our subcommittees listed on the right, and please, if you are interested in getting involved, there are many ways to engage within SOAP. You can always reach out to me, and I'm happy to connect you in the right places. We're here to serve you and look forward to doing so. And next, I think I'm going to pass it off to Jill Meyer.
Thanks, Meg. Jill couldn't be here with us this evening. As we all know, we our lives are extremely busy, and occasionally we have some conflicts. So I'm going to share with you the experience and the work activity that the research committee has been doing. Many researchers in the community would have recognized that we've undergone a um, rethinking of how we handle survey requests of our members, trying to balance the demand on our members, but also ensuring that the surveys that we are sending are the highest quality. So that process is going well, and we're getting some great applications. So if you want more information on that, that can be found on our website. As I mentioned in the opening, we had another great and very successful Research Network Symposium, which we hold twice a year at ASA and at the annual meeting. The number of applications for proposals of projects is growing, and the quality of these proposals has grown substantially. So this is a very successful endeavor that is going to help our society remain at the forefront of research and knowledge creation within our obstetric anesthesia community for many years. As I mentioned, we've seen the development and redevelopment of our SOAP Fair Research Mentor Grants. Again, another big success story, and we look forward to seeing more and more of our awardees present their work at our SOAP annual meeting. The General Anesthesia Registry, as part of the network, research network, is going strong, and we're looking forward to seeing that project come to a conclusion in the future. The SOAP journal clubs have been getting and growing in terms of the number of members joining on those, and the process for which we are going to be highlighting those is going to grow. As Meg highlighted, our investment in social media and other forms is going to grow in the future. Upcoming, as I said, we're growing the journal club aspects. You're going to find ways in which we can highlight the great work that research and great research that our members are doing. So Jill has a whole subcommittee that's going to be working on transforming the wonderful research that's being done into digestible tidbits of information that are going to impact our patients as soon as possible. As well, we have ideas and to build within the research network to help grow prospective multi-center projects. Thank you very much. I want to thank Jill for her work within the research committee, and to thank her committee and subcommittee members, Jessica Ansari, Alex Belwick, Anthony Chow, Holly Indy, Mark Newman, and Pervez Sultan are our 2026 research committee. And she has a number of subcommittees that are working hard. So thank you, Jill, and all of your committee members. Just received notice that Dr. Sultan was not able to be with us again either. So, Pervez is one of our directors that is um, elected via our nominations and election process, which represents a group of practitioners working in an academic practice. And so they serve many roles on our board and fill many um, uh, roles within committees and subcommittees around all of our activity. So some of the things that Pervez wanted to highlight from the 2025-26 activities include our New York State Society PGA meeting initiative, where we had the Gertie Marks Memorial Panel on wet taps, intrathecal catheters, epidural blood patches, and the latest consensus statements. Thank you to those presenters. We also had some wonderful presentations on the OB management of labor epidurals and on cesarean delivery and inadequate neuraxial anesthetic. So thank you to all of those presenters, and look forward to seeing many of you at the PGA meeting in December of this year, where we'll continue to build upon that relationship with the New York State Society. We also had a very successful partnership meeting with the IR's SOCA meeting in 2026, Beyond the Basics, Managing the High Risk and ICU Level Obstetric Emergencies. And thank you to those presenters for helping organize that. And then recently, we are continuing to build and solidify our long-term relationship with the Obstetric Anesthetists Association in the UK. And they warmly received me recently in Liverpool to speak at their annual meeting. And as their community continues to grow, our relationship with them is going to grow as well. Next slide. All right. I welcome Dr. Paleshi.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Greg Paleshi. I am, as it says there, I am, one of the outgoing directors from community practice. And I wanted to highlight just a few things which have been touched upon already, because I think this year has really been a transformational year in the outreach of SOAP to the community and private practice. And again, touching on the NYSSA Alliance. The PGA is the annual meeting of the NYSSA, and we identified that about a year ago, and this is kind of an update, as an audience that we might want to try to get in front of. And as you saw, we had 3 offerings as part of that initial MOU at this past 2025 December PGA. And having been a speaker at a couple of them, but also attending each one of those events, it was a smashing success. If the goal of this mission was to get SOAP in front of an audience that really we have not been in front of, i.e., private practitioners, community practitioners, it was mission accomplished, and it could not have gone any better. And it was really quite heartwarming to see the speakers from SOAP doing their usual excellent job, again, engaging, and it was standing room only for many of these events. But that success is leading to some future, opportunities. That MOU, as has been touched upon, is now a multi-year MOU. The 2026 PGA, we've already established the program. And as has been touched upon, but again, I think it's valuable from the private practice community. We've used that as a template to reach out to the California Society. And they enthusiastically are embracing the idea, having seen the template that we put together at the NYSSA. And as Dr. Rosenstein said, the fundamentals is being moved to January, and partly for that, part of the reason for that is to leverage the conference goers from the PGA. PGA is in December, so we're experimenting and seeing if we can capture some of that momentum and bring it into fundamentals. So a lot of exciting things. I really do think it's a transformational year, and a lot of exciting things coming up this upcoming year. I actually can't see the slides, but next slide, I think. My last point is, SOAP swag, right? So we've been doing this for about 3 years now, a collaborative effort with Land's End. Go on the SOAP site, show your support for SOAP. We do make a little bit on each item that's sold, but again, it's really a great way to support the organization. And with that, I turn it over, I believe, to Dr. Lim.
Hi, everyone. It is an honor to come and serve you as SO president in July. And I want to start first by thanking all of you, the members, our volunteers, and the current leadership, the outgoing president, Dr. Ron George, he's done an incredible job. And all of our past presidents who have worked together to build an organization that is recognized for its expertise, in other words, credibility, humanity, and the impact as well. So as we look as our eyes are ahead at the next year, I would like to center our priorities around 4 themes where we've built some strengths, but I think we can start digging some deeper wells. And that includes value. Second thing is visibility. And the third is systems leadership. And underpinning all that is connection. So with respect to value, we want to congratulate the great work that has been done by Dr. Meg Rosenstein and that committee. They have, as you can see, made measurable needles moving forward on multiple sectors. And we want every member of SOAP to feel that they are essential to that SOAP is essential to their professional life, whether that is practice not in an academic center or also in a community hospital, a rural setting, or anywhere that women who are pregnant, people who are pregnant, are cared for. And what that means is that we are going to make concerted investments of volunteer effort, time, and our management team in improving education, our mentorship, leadership development, various collaborations and practical resources that improve both patient care and professional fulfillment. This also means that we ensure that there is long-term sustainability of our mission through thoughtful partnerships, such as the ones you've heard, and making sure that we're curating the ones that have the most meaningful impact without getting into scope creep beyond. Philanthropy is going to be extremely important. That party with a purpose is going to continue to be something that we want and need your help in ensuring its ongoing success for the health of the endowment for years to come. And those are the types of things that we're going to focus on when it comes to value. With respect to visibility, I think all of us can agree that OB anesthesiology should not be sort of modularly added to maternal health conversations after the fact, but in fact, we should be helping to lead them. So SOAP does have some unprecedented opportunities here to become the national home for OB anesthesia quality, patient-centered care, implementation, science, and multidisciplinary collaboration. So you are going to start seeing us advancing some real work around quality metrics, hemorrhage care consensus statements, electronic health record integration, and national partnerships with organizations that are highly visible, such as the ASA, the AQI, and EHR platforms such as Epic and many others. And that brings me to the third priority there with systems leadership. And one of the things that we've spoken about, that I spoke about very recently, is that anesthesiologists are fundamentally systems thinkers. And we sit at this very unique intersection of perioperative care, perinatal care, critical care, population health, communication, safety, quality. These are spaces that we just very naturally occupy by virtue of the fact that we do this type of work every day. And as healthcare becomes increasingly complex, specifically for our patient population, our specialty does have a unique opportunity to help design scalable and culturally sensitive and equitable models of care, particularly for communities and hospitals that may not have access to subspecialty resources. So we will be broadening the way we think about these things from a systems perspective to assure that we are relevant in the conversation of maternal morbidity and mortality, as that is deeply connected not only to physiology, but also mental health, access, communication, and social determinants. These are things that SOAP can meaningfully contribute to in these broader conversations. And we're going to do all these things with a focus on our value of connection. So our core value of connection will bring this all together. The strength of SOAP has really always been its people. We are a society who are grounded in collaboration and scientific rigor and mentorship and a shared purpose. And I want us to continue to amplify those voices of each other, but also patients, trainees, other clinicians, advanced practice providers, multidisciplinary partners across all practice environments. So I see this as a unique and an extraordinary moment of opportunity for our subspecialty. Maternal health is receiving national attention, and so is data, technology. Those kinds of things are evolving rapidly, and patients are asking us not only for safety, but also for trust and dignity, communication, and partnership. And I see SOAP as a key leader in this space, and I'm very excited for what we can and will be building together over the next several years. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. And I think I could say on behalf of the board and the new board members is we're looking so forward to working with you and helping you fulfill your mission. So congratulations. So I have the pleasure of welcoming our new board members. One that's not new to tonight's conversation is Dan is stepping in from the AMLE role and was elected as our next vice president. And in 2 years, during our 60th anniversary year, will be our president. So congratulations, Dan. I also want to welcome Brandon Tobioka. Brandon, as you heard, was very instrumental in building our sponsorship catalog and building their sponsorships support of our annual meeting and of SOAP. And he has come through the nomination process and been appointed as our secretary for the next 3 years and chair of our governance committee. Welcome to Alex Butwick, who has been elected as our director at large representing academic practice. And Alex has been a longtime supporter of SOAP, so we look forward to seeing him on the board. Next slide. This year marked the biggest turnover year. Every 3 years, we do have a year where we have 6 new board members joining. And so joining those 3, we also have Arya Shafai, who's joining us as the Director of Large for Community Practice. Yanni Angelidis, who's joining us as the Director at Large with less than 15 years experience. And lastly, on this list is Dr. Phil Rubin, who's going to be joining us and filling Dan's role as our chair of the annual meeting and live events committee. And welcome to each of you and all 6 of you onto our new board. It's going to be exciting to work with each of you over the next year as I finish my term as immediate past president. So thank you all. So here in front of you, you have what the 2026-2027 board members will look like, representing all of the membership of SOAP and working towards fulfilling our mission to you and what we've laid out. So I'm incredibly looking forward to working with this group and helping Grace and lead this board of directors for the next year. So thank you all very much for joining us for this business meeting who are here in person, and thank you all who take time to go through these slides who couldn't be here with us this evening. So we do have a few moments, and if there are any questions, we would be happy to take those from the members that are present. I will quickly check the chat too. And again, if there aren't any questions this evening, we'd be more than happy to take those questions via TradeWing or any of the other forums for which SOAP is present on. Or just send me an email. That happens a lot. I like it. Well, I don't see anything in the chat. I don't see anybody's hands come up. So I think we've presented a lot of stuff for people, and it's getting late into the evening and people want to get home to their families. So I thank everybody who came in attendance. I again want to thank this year's board, who it is my pleasure to work with, and the hard work, the commitment, the willingness to work together and come to consensus on how we can best move SOAP forward has been heartwarming each and every time. And so I do greatly appreciate all of your counsel over the last 2 years, and I look forward to, again, helping Grace and this board continue to move so forward, because it is an organization that is true and dear to my heart, and I want to see us be incredibly successful. So thank you all. I look forward to seeing you all in person at future community meetings, and of course, if you haven't already, plan your vacation for Palm Springs next year. And what a party we're going to have for the 60th anniversary in Puerto Rico. So good night, everyone.